Hello, fans out there.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, this is actually not scripted. We're just going to be freestyling here.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to talk about. She's graduate. She's a medical doctor. She trained in Ukraine, and she's done her house job. And she's just completed. She's finishing up her NYC.
Just about to
Yeah, finish up her
do my
NYC.
POV, pass out of NYC.
Yeah, when is it gonna happen?
Well, it's happening next week.
Next week.
Thursday.
That's amazing.
Particularly.
You have to be a bit louder so they could hear you.
Obviously, I have to cut the part out, obviously.
Just be a bit louder so they can hear you. So,
Okay.
so can you tell me what the process is like? You know, having schooled abroad and how you're able to get your whole NYSC sorted out.
Okay. Well, first of all, the process is quite. I think you've actually given them a whole idea about how to do about the house job. If you've been following this channel, you should have already known what you should do once you're done with your first degree, of course, and you want to come back to the country to practice. So you could check out this MDCN review. If you haven't, well, that's the first step. So once you're done with the examinations, that's the MDCN examination, the next thing is the house job. Well, before now, it was quite, you had to compete with everybody else in the country to get a spot after you're done with the exam. Well, I think right now the policy has actually changed. So the MDCN themselves are now responsible for posting you to your house job hospital where you're going to be doing your house job.
So that's like that's actually a new
Yes.
development, something which I think
It's starting off this year.
Starting off
Actually,
this year, yes.
it wasn't there before.
Yeah.
Initially, you had to wait or maybe find a way to get a spot, competing with both Nigerian graduates, including you too. So it was a little bit challenging. So, well, we don't know yet if this is a good thing or not a very good thing. So this is the first time it's going to be happening. Well, that's the first step. And after you're done with your house job, it's a 1-year program, obviously, right? So after the house job, there are some forms you would have to fill. These forms are very necessary. They are like assessment forms. So, by the way, before your house job, what you're given is a provisional registration and a license, the annual license. So that provisional registration is supposed to be converted to a permanent license. So that's why you had to do the house job. So after the house job, you need to get a permanent license. So now, to get a permanent license, that's where the forms come in. The forms are given to you by the MDCN office themselves. So you have to download the forms, get them signed off from each department, the major department: obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, internal medicine, and surgery. These are the 4 major departments you are supposed to sign out from. So once you're done filling all those forms, I think there's form B, form A, and then there's a particular form that has assessment where they tick how well you did in each of these departments, right?
Yeah.
And then there's another form that comes with the duration of your house job, how long it lasted. And then there's another form that is an introductory letter that states that, okay, this is what you did, this was how long you spent in the program, and all of that. So you will get to know about it. Well, after you're done with all those forms, you're supposed to upload it on the MDCN website. When you're done uploading, it's quite a long process. Maybe he's going to another video with the whole thing, but just a summary of everything. You get them uploaded. You're going to pay for the permanent registration rather, and also your annual license to practice. And after that is when you start applying for NYSC. So as a medical doctor, you cannot do NYSC without your permanent license, okay?
So basically, what she just said was like the NYSC, the pre-NYSC phase,
yes,
which is basically what the house job is all about. You know, because many of my videos have talked about how you do MDCN registration, but then I didn't go into the house job. And in addition to what she said about getting your clearances, I think it's also advisable that you do after every posting you do, like it varies according to institutions. If you can actually do your clearance
immediately after
the posting, like if you do internal medicine, you get it signed. IMG, you get it signed. It actually makes it better
and faster because things. By the time you start looking for your consultants, they're like busy.
Exactly, they can decide to be on sabbatical.
They not even remember that you did.
Exactly.
So it's quite difficult for them to assess you. So it's way easier if you finish it and you sign off immediately. So that by the time you're done with the last one, all you need to do is upload it on the MDCN website and apply for your permanent license.
Yeah, and also with regard to the permanent license, I think there's a couple of payments that has to be made. I think it costs a total of about 65,000.
Yeah, it's actually
it's quite on the high side because you pay for your full license, full registration. You pay for another annual license.
Yes, you're supposed to pay for the annual license.
You also pay for building levy.
Yeah,
and there's some
I don't
other.
think that's still in play. Well, we don't know yet. It was part of the package for us.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think you just have a budget of about 60,000.
About 70,000.
Yeah, proper. You just go with 70,000, and then that's pretty much it. So you're done with house job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now NYSC.
Now NYSC.
What is NYSC like in Nigeria?
Okay. First and foremost, I'd like them to know what So they have finished doing their house job now. And they've completed the house job. What's the next step? How does NYSC come into play as a foreign trained medical graduate?
Yes. Okay, so as a foreign trained medical graduate, NYSC for you would, usually you're supposed to do a clearance if you were trained in Nigeria. Your school, I think your school is supposed to do some clearance for you and all that. But for you as a medical trained graduate, foreign trained graduate, you already have an automatic clearance because from your school you already had your transcripts, you had your medical diploma and all that. So when you get to the MDCN website, you're going to upload those documents, your foreign diploma, we call it diploma from Ukraine, so your foreign medical degree and pages of your transcripts, and also your passport photograph, with also a page on your passport photograph that states the time you left. Your international passport that states when you actually left the country and when you came into the country. Okay. Well.
So basically, they need to when just for clarification, when they go to the website, there'll be some things they have to
upload documents.
And then documents is going to include their international passport. Is it international passport?
The international passport.
International passport, your medical degrees, your transcripts, and basically every document that you used in the course of your education, any certificates you acquired, they should all be available so it could be uploaded.
Of course, and they should be the major documents. These are like the major documents you must have. Well, the challenge most times is identifying what your ID number was when you were in school. So I think they usually ask that, what was it called in Nigeria? Like the number that
is
your matric number, exactly. So they will ask you for something like that. Obviously, they don't have a matric number. So, but then every certificate has a number attached to it. So that number is your matric number. So that's what you're supposed to impute into the system. And once that is over, for me, during my time, we had to do a physical verification. So you'll be given a date to come to, you're supposed to choose a place closest to you, of course. Physical verification simply means you have uploaded your documents online. They want to see the originals. So you will come with your original documents. They would assess it, make sure everything is okay. And then after that, you're supposed to wait for your call-up letter.
So this verification, is it like this? What you just described, is it like going to be a one-on-one thing? What is the day like?
Well, on that day, you obviously see others who studied abroad too, Ghana, anywhere around the world that is not Nigeria. So and they would come that day. You'd have someone, I don't remember his office entirely, but I think that is just what he does. So they come, they would look at your documents one by one. Let me just share a very particular story. So during my verification on that day, there was this guy who studied in Benin Republic. So he actually came in with a fake
Allegedly.
Okay, let me allegedly fake degree. So the thing about it was that there were others who studied in similar institution as he did. His own was obviously different from theirs. So he was trying to explain, oh my god, the man was so mad at him, like it was so obvious that that was illegal. And honestly, I don't know how that turned out, but it was not funny. So make sure that your documents are original, because these guys are not playing. You studied abroad does not mean they can just face off. They are serious. I think NYSC is only one of the very few organizations that are very efficient.
So what you have to, based on everything that you said, like what I was able to get from it is that you need to come with your original documents. If your school is delaying on presenting those documents, it's better for you to communicate to them and get the real deal, rather than going with something which one may think is not real, which is fake, basically.
Like or you're not even sure
because
of authenticity.
These guys have seen students from your school. They have seen those certificates.
Yes.
They're not the first to get. Except the school is a new school and you're the only medical student from Nigeria. They have seen students like this already. So you have to like.
It has to be an original.
It has to be original. So don't be funny.
Well, afterwards, of course, NYSC has to also you have to upload your license, your permanent license. I didn't mention that as part of the documents on your NYSC platform as a medical doctor. Obviously, every other profession they would have their particular documents to upload, but for you, your permanent license has to be permanent registration and license has to be on the page, and they would ask you for it. So people can actually go ahead with the NYSC registration and then get to the point where they have to upload their license if they don't have it yet. But before they can give you a call-up number, you need to have your license uploaded, because that's what could really delay your NYSC process actually. So afterwards, everything else seems to be the same as everybody else. So you get a call-up letter, you get some other forms sorted out, you choose where you want to go, which eventually doesn't turn out to be so. So they pick your state for you actually. They pick where you're going to serve. So I served in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. So I'm not sure how they do the random. It's really random. They could send you to the north, they could send you anywhere they want to send you. So though you can actually apply for a deployment, but that's like a whole different level.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that?
No, that's not for this video.
Another video.
Different video altogether.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, folks, you've heard some of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna ask some more questions. During the course of your service, right? Like compared to what was the day to day? I guess did you stay in camp?
Well, yeah, we did camp.
Because of the whole COVID and everything. So
okay. For us, by the way, it was so. My NYSC was just not the same as everybody's NYSC. Where I served, and I was in the first batch of 2020, the very first batch. So that was when the pandemic started. It was in March, batch A, stream 1. So we were in camp as normal when the news came that there was a virus in the air and everybody, the WHO said no more crowds.
Yeah.
So we had to camp. We had to dispatch. So from then onwards, things started happening.
You went to your PP and everything.
Yeah, we were sent to our PPAs
okay.
actually. We were sent to our PPAs, primary place of assignment.
Then what I want to ask is now, with regards to the were you partaking in any NYSC activities? Because like when I was during my time in NYSC, I was in the CDS. I did NYSC after my first degree in microbiology. So I was ended up being a teacher. I taught during NYSC.
That's a good teacher.
Okay. So during my NYSC, I actually did I was a member of a CDS group called the HIV and AIDS. That's a community development service. We go have meetings on on Thursdays. And yeah, so I want to know, like, during your time, did you guys have, was there any CDS group for doctors?
Well, there is a CDS group for doctors. It's known as Comets. I'm not certainly sure, I'm not very sure about what it means. The truth is that during my time, we didn't do CDS. Everything was in the high, at the time, everything was, we're trying not to gather as much as possible. So we didn't do CDS. I didn't have the privilege to do a community development service. But I think that in my place of assignment, it was more like a community development service back then.
Okay.
Because we're coming to that, right?
Yeah, coming to that, coming to that. So having worked as, done your house job,
Yes.
and seeing what the house job is all about, and your PPA, so not to bash any organization,
Okay.
so no negative anything.
No.
All right.
Still.
Everybody being positive. So now tell me, like, in comparison to your house job,
Okay.
right? What was like what was it like, right? Was it more intense? Were you under more scrutiny? Was it like,
Right.
can you give people who are watching the vibe of, okay, what is what you're going to expect in a house job?
Okay.
In
youth service.
while serving in the hospital.
Well, one thing is for sure, you may not know where you're going to be posted to. Well, for me, I served in a cottage hospital, and in my hospital, it was quite organized. Actually, they had a very good structure. It seemed like I was doing house job continued, sort of. It was like obstetric, specifically a lot of obstetric and pediatric cases there. So I was doing more in that area. You know, in house job you had just 3 months for each department. So like during NYSC, depending on where you're posted, you could have just one particular area that it's much more concentrated on in that PPA. So for me, the hospital was very organized, very structured. They had seniors, of course, so that's one privilege that many people don't get in NYSC, because you're basically on your own. You're the doctor there. So, but in my primary place of assignment, we had like a lot of people who were always there to direct and instruct. So it felt like I was continuing NYSC. It was a cottage hospital, but they had a lot of things that it was more organized than my house job. Honestly.
No, you didn't say that.
I
Okay,
didn't
you
say
didn't
that.
say that. Okay, it was her house job was amazing, and after that one was also amazing. So
Okay, well, they were both amazing.
Yeah, they were both
But
amazing.
if I should compare my experience, I think I
Because
enjoyed my NYSC more than the house job. I learned more things.
Did you get to do calls?
Of course, yeah, I got to do calls in my
Oh, so like.
Well, the reason it wasn't compulsory, yeah, it's just that the pay was better if you did calls. By the way, in NYSC, you're not going to be earning 6 figures, so.
I think it depends on the center as well.
No, actually, even if it depends on the center, it's still like 5 figures at most. 6 figures is more like, because it's a service, you're serving.
You're serving the nation.
The nation. So, as a medical doctor, though your pay is higher compared to every other corps member, but it's still not like, so you're serving. Just have that in mind. Well, in my PPA, I decided to do calls. Number one, because I wanted to get my skills, stronger and all that. And number two, because I needed the money to get better paid.
I think it's also essential that because after NYSC one will likely be
you become a medical officer. You actually
the medical officer is likely going to be like more independent.
Yes, exactly.
So if one can acquire
make decisions on your own. And by the way, in NYSC you could get some skills that you couldn't make probably in your house job. You didn't get the opportunity to do it during NYSC because you're a little bit much more independent than house job. You're allowed to do some certain procedures, so it's very necessary that you grab all the skills that you can, because you don't know where next you're going afterwards. And by the way, it's good on your CV that you can do some certain procedures, because afterwards people will be looking for doctors like you. have a lot of experience like that when we like post NYSC Dr. Mide, post NYSC Dr. Mide. I'm like, really? Seriously, guys? So it's necessary for you to acquire such skills.
Okay. So I think that's the quality wrap today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And we'll upload other videos again. And if you like this format, having more of a conversation than me and my boring voice every time, I think we will.
It's not boring.
And my boring voice every time. I think we'll go for that. All right. So
subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. I have only 22 subscribers. You guys can increase it. Let me have like 50. Okay, please. All right now.
Well, this is actually good content, and he has so much more to bring to the table, and of course with your suggestions, there's so much more.
All right.
We can do.
So bye.